artificial intelligence in the area of agriculture here, the problem of under-occupation, which for me is one of the key problems, you have 10 people doing the job that could be done by one person. What will be done with these people? So I have no answer for it, and I would like to get answers from you. Thank you. Intelligence.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for showing the interest with the work with Pakistan. Thank you so much. And we
have no answer for it.
A very highly educated but small segment of the population, and you have a huge segment of the population that is basically operating the way their grandparents did. And we see in the developed world what has happened over the last 100 years. You used to have 80% of the people were needed to create the food, to produce the food that was needed to feed the population. Today, it's 2 to 3%. And what that did is it freed up the people to be able to provide the education services, the health services, the infrastructure, all the other things of a modern society. And the problem that I think is going to happen as we see AI move more and more into agriculture. And I'll give just a couple of examples. In Brazil, they also have very, very large farms, tracts of farms, where you can see 5, 6 tractors in parallel going down the field, and there's no operators, there's no humans in those tractors. They're just operating, and they have the ability to, as they go over the plants, to be able to detect what does a particular plant need and give exactly that single plant what it needs. That the other main development we see is Elon Musk's brother, for example, is very heavily into industrialized agriculture, and we have vertical farms being built. Because people no longer need to go to offices as much, we have a lot of office space available, and we actually have very large buildings right now being converted in the cities into farms, because that reduces the transportation costs to be able to get the produce to where the people live. And so there you see basically automated, that doesn't require dirt, so it just literally, the seeds all get dropped on one edge of a moving platform, and as that platform moves through the stages of growth and it gets to the end, there's robots there that pick all the crops and package them, and out they go. You need very, very few humans. So the challenge for Pakistan is going to be anything you do to improve education is, as Professor Daniels pointed out, is going to reduce the number of people, because right now you've got 10 people doing what in other countries is being done by one person. So you're going to have to figure out what to do with those other 9 people. And it's more likely going to be in the near future with artificial intelligence, it's going to be 20 people for one. And this is happening so fast. The problem is that right now, that 90% or 80% of Pakistan living in a lot of those rural areas that are living the way their grandparents and great-grandparents live, they don't even know about the modern world that you are already experiencing in your cities in Pakistan. So therefore, they're not going to feel, as they continue doing what they're doing, they're not going to feel the artificial intelligence, they're not going to feel the modernization, because nobody's bringing it to them. It's why aren't people going and opening stores and supermarkets and modern distribution facilities in these remote villages? It's because the people have no money to pay for anything that who's going to invest in developing retail outlets in communities that can't afford to pay for it. We see that in the developed countries. In the United States, you can go to segments, areas in unit, and you'll find here that the people don't invest in stores and so forth there, and even food stores, and we call them food deserts, because you can go into parts of New York City and there's no supermarkets for the people, because the people that live in that neighborhood can't afford to pay, so nobody's going to invest to put a store where nobody can buy. So we have to solve that problem. Education is an answer, but it's going to be a problem, because we're basically telling people in those remote areas, help your children get an education so they can leave your villages, because there's no future in those villages. For why become a doctor if there's no clinic? Especially why become a surgeon if there's, you don't have electricity in the place to operate. So we have to figure out a way, like China has done, to be able to go and take the populations, get them into areas where they can be properly serviced and where jobs can be made available, so that the transition to take them out of poverty and take them out of the style of life of 100 years ago, it can be managed. And we have the example. China's doing it. So Pakistan, I think, is a prime candidate to be able to do that, because you do have that 10% of the population that is capable of leading the others if there's the will. And that's the biggest thing, is there the political will to radically change Pakistan in that manner, because you can't say, I want all the advantages, but I don't want to have to make any of the changes that are needed to make that happen. And that's, right now, in my opinion, the biggest problem in Pakistan is, where are the strivers? Where are those people in all but 90% who are striving? In South Korea, we see the kids going to school at 7 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock at night, go have dinner and go back to school for another 3 hours. Where are the young children in Pakistan doing that? And we are in a global world. Pakistan, you want to help the people in Pakistan, but if we take climate change for an example and the impact on agriculture, what's happening with agriculture in Pakistan is not being caused by Pakistan. It's being caused by all the countries that are creating the global warming situation, that are changing the weather patterns and so forth, that are impacting the developing countries more so than the developed countries. So we have to find a way to all work together. And Daniel, to your point, why is an American sitting here getting involved? I spent half my adult life in Germany, but I'm the current vice chair of the NGO Committee for Education, Learning, and Literacy at the United Nations here in New York. I'm also the president of a global Rotary Club, and we are working to bring about what we call Vision 2030. That's the world that could be if all of the sustainable development goals were fully achieved in all parts of the world for all people. So Pakistan, to me, I believe has the mix, better than many, many other developing countries out there, has the mix to be able to jump Pakistan into a developed country in a relatively short time. I've made the challenge to Pakistan by 2030 to go and beat Germany in the PISA exam on education. In other words, make the average education in Pakistan, average outcomes, be better than the average outcomes in Germany by 2030. I believe it's doable, but it's going to depend on all the other people on this call and all the other people that want to try, because right now I don't see the will to try to do something like that in the masses, and that's what's going to make the difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much.
Bill, I will only say inshallah. Inshallah. You know what I mean?
Yes. But the thing about it is God helps those who help themselves.
I do.
Okay.
Let's fix this target not to 2030, but to 2030.
If you say some statements on Bill's statements.
Yes, thank you very much. I think it was a very good start for this webinar. And in 10 days, Professor Daniel has rightly pointed out, and Mr. Bell has also seen two worlds in Pakistan. And as an optimist, it is something which is a good sign whenever there is margin to play, whenever there is a disparity, more flow can take place and at a very rapid pace. Currently, the emerging technologies which are coming nowadays, which are now available to us, that provides us a very good opportunity. We have very different challenges that all those people who are not progressing, their progress is contingent with the landowners, the feudals we have. So if they agree, so very limited people can make the difference in a very large scale. So it is not up to 27, it is even it can be 2025. Because whenever we people start and getting after something, then there is a difference and that is a major noticeable difference that happens. We have seen it in every field. Wherever our attention goes as a nation, we can move on to different things. The only thing is that we need to develop a very pragmatic solution in the different areas, like in the agriculture. And to duplicate it or scaling it up is never a problem in our part of the world. And we do believe that this can be accomplished in a very systematic manner. And we will be looking for the support, technical support from our friends in the developing countries. So whenever we have a solution available and solutions have to be made in the labs, and then scaling up is no more a difficult task. And we have people who have started realizing that what we have lost so far and what the future holds for us. So it can be taken as a challenge and opportunity, but we are rich in the HR, that is the human resource, but we need to develop them into assets. So far, they are just the resource and rather the potential, and we have to convert our potential into our performances. And the moment we can do it, then the change is going to happen, and we all should be striving for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And I would like to invite Abdul Rahman. Mr. Abdul Rahman, you want to say some informative talk on AI?
Hello, Assalamualaikum. Can you hear me? Yes, we can.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the previous meeting, I introduced myself. I am an electrical engineer from University of Lahore, and I developed a automated segregation of solid waste system using a robotic arm. And the system is based on artificial intelligence subset deep learning. And in deep learning, I used computer vision technology to detect the different categories of waste, such as plastic waste, wood waste, paper waste, and the metal waste. Then the system detects the waste according to their chemical properties and then sort it out in their appropriate bin. Now, this system achieve 5 to 6 sustainable development goals of United Nations. Also, the robotic arm can also be used in many other applications. Just like in the previous meeting, the Naveed Saab said that it can be used for spraying the paints in manufacturing process. It can also be used in many industrial process automation. Just like yesterday, I got a project from a industry that they want me to automate their section of socks. Uh, I have a proof of concept So to enhance this robotic arm, I need more technical advisors. I need a marketing team to make this project a product. So I want all of you to give this system a review, and I can also share the PPT file in the group or the images of my project. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdurrahman. Nice to talk to you. Now we have Muhammad Alam Saab. Muhammad Alam, can you hear me? Sayyid Muhammad Alam Saab. Okay, I think there is. Now I would like to invite Nadeem Shahid Saab. नदीम शाहिद हमारे साथ हैं. ओके मैम. Now I would like to invite EB2010. I think I don't know. Arisha Siddiqui हमारे साथ है. Arisha Siddiqui, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. To say share some information about AI.
No, I don't have much knowledge about it.
Okay.
Okay.
I wanted to.
Kamal, yeah, I have a question, right? Before I ask question, yes, but you want to add something?
I just want to add, I just posted in the chat a challenge. I've made this challenge before, but there's no reason we can't do this. With regards to AI right now, the biggest problem is some schools ban it, some schools ignore it. You got some students that discover it, and many don't. The biggest challenge here is to get every student in Pakistan to see themselves as a inventor and entrepreneur extraordinaire. So the challenge that I think here we could make is to challenge every school, starting with primary schools even. Primary schools against primary schools, there's a competition. Primary schools against primary schools, secondary against secondary, tertiary against tertiary, to have the students in those schools to see which can come up with the best, the wildest use case for using ChatGPT or something similar to do amazing things. And to take a look here first and just look out there and see who's doing what. We can publish some examples of wild examples to get their imagination going. But can you picture here a local secondary school, for example, getting the students together and saying, let's learn about this ChatGPT and let's imagine what we might be able to make it do. Look at all these crazy things people out there are doing with it. So that's one challenge. I don't see a single reason why that cannot be done before 1 year from today. That we can actually have that competition and challenge every single school in Pakistan. We should be able to find. I'm going to reach out to the expatriate community of Pakistan here in New Jersey to see if we can get some sponsorship to go out there and issue that challenge to every school with a guidance on how to do the competitions. And if we can get all the Rotary clubs there to each organize the local competition round, and then we take it up from there to your states and then on up to the national and up higher. The other thing here, that's one challenge that I think there's no reason we can't do that, and you can have the whole country going wild learning about ChatGPT simply because they want to participate in these competitions. The second thing here is with regards to literacy. You know, we had last week the example of coming from India, but it's available in Urdu, how to make people literate, young children ages 5 and 6, illiterate in able to read a newspaper in just 45 days. And so the challenge is here to get every primary school in Pakistan to say they will get every single student that's currently in school. We know about all the 20 plus million not in school, but all those in school, to get them to be really proficient readers before the end of this year, before the end of 2023. And the only thing that's needed to do that is the will, because it doesn't cost. It just is the will. And if we can get the word out, because on the 9th and 10th, we have that massive online training program for any teacher that wants to install it, and I'll try to get it, a Urdu version of that available in the next few months. So those are two challenges, and all it takes is the will. So everybody on this call, you guys organize. You're in Pakistan. I'm not in Pakistan. So you guys need to organize a committee that says, let's make these things happen in Pakistan. This year for literacy, for everybody that's not in school, and next year we'll go out to everybody who's not in school, everybody that's currently in school. Next year, everybody that's not in school, get a country to be 100% literate, at least as far as young people go, before the end of 2024. And that's the first step to getting everybody to be able to excel on the PISA exams in 2027. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Bill. Before, I just have one question. I like to, Abdul Rahman was saying about the robotic arm. So, Abdul Rahman, kindly share your information. And, me and Ammar Jaffri and Nafi Zafar, we are working on the thing, whatever the idea you have or people have idea, we want to turn into a product. So, kindly share your information and inshallah we do something about it. Thank you. Yes, come on, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Ma'am Sabia. Ma'am Sabia, please share something about AI. Ma'am Sabia,
I think Madam Sabia is here.
Yeah.
I think she's not here anymore.
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Actually, I was not in Pakistan for the last 9-10 days. I just arrived a couple of days ago, and I believe today's session is about artificial intelligence as usual. So artificial intelligence is interestingly spreading and growing very well. But I am a little skeptical about it in Pakistan, where their basic needs are not met properly. How would people learn about artificial intelligence? I'm working on grassroots level nowadays, and I'm very worried about the situation in Karachi, especially coming after a couple of weeks when Ramadan starts, and we shall have an inpour of beggars in our city, and the whole city will be like a dining room of them for free ration and free iftari, and they will be begging and making millions and millions and going away, which destroying all the moral and ethical and values and all self-respect and everything. Where are we going? I don't understand. Couple of people you can count on your fingers learning artificial intelligence, and the majority in the country is flourishing on begging and on free food all the time. I don't understand if we can make any impact on the society like this. I have my reservations on this. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Now we have Ahmed Videowala. Ahmed Videowala. Can you hear me, sir?
Come on, I have a question, please.
Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah. I think, the bill on Navi Zafar Saab can answer it. Earlier, a couple of weeks ago, we discussed, the cash 22 means, which is the goals are more important, the goal number 1 and 2 or goal number 4 and 9. Because, as Madam Sabia said, it makes sense. The people who don't have money, don't have a food to eat, and how come they work on the AI and things like that. So, I would like to request Bill and Navi Zafar Saab to comment on that. Yes, Bill, over to you.
Yeah, I think here I look at the example of China, because China, in terms of raising people out of poverty, in terms of education, in terms of healthcare, has accomplished over the last 30, 40 years something that in the history of mankind has never been, there's no other example. And they didn't go out and say, you know what, we can't educate our young people until we solve our hunger problems or whatnot. The issue here is, until people have confidence, become strivers, believe in themselves, and have confidence, you're not going to solve the problem. As was just pointed out, all the beggars that are coming out, because they're sitting there and saying, but I don't know any other way that I'm going to be able to survive or get money. We have to solve the education problem. We have to go, and what's very, very important, because a lot of people are saying for the education for the villages, why do we want to educate academics? There's no job for academics. Why do we need to educate people on hand skills to be able to do the jobs that exist today in the village? Well, that's just perpetuating the poverty situation that many villages have. And if we go out and say, okay, we're going to go and provide the education for them to go and use modern agriculture, as was already pointed out, we're going to be sitting there and you're going to get a handful of the farmers that are going to end up owning all the land and having all the equipment, and everybody else is going to be wondering what to do. So it does take a coordinated effort. And the biggest problem I see that takes place in almost all the parts of the world right now is everybody's talking about the problems. I don't see anybody coming up with a comprehensive plan. We see in the United States, I was just shocked to hear that more than 50% of all American adults cannot read at above a fifth grade level. 50% of all adults. And that implies the biggest group of those are white adults, so we can't even say, oh, well, it's certain minorities or whatever. The challenge here is we have to get people to aim high. As Michelangelo said, the problem for most people is not that they aim too high and fail, it's because they aim too low and succeed. So when I go out there and say, let's get every young person in Pakistan learning about and imagining what they could accomplish using artificial intelligence, is because otherwise they're going to be part of that left behind community that is going to be living in poverty for the rest of their lives. They need to go and say, I know something, I can do something, and have that confidence to break out and say, I'm going to leverage this. And artificial intelligence, you know, I had posted here an example where somebody said the printing press democratized knowledge, because now everybody could have access to knowledge, obviously, if they could read. But the AI is democratizing ability, because you could just sit there and say, artificial intelligence, do this for me. And within a couple of months, artificial intelligence is going to be connected to all the other devices and things around us. So you're going to be able to say, artificial intelligence, make me a presentation. Artificial intelligence, make me a video. Artificial intelligence, go manufacture something that looks like this in a 3D printer. That's all going to be possible. And everybody who is not being trained for 2023, 2024 and beyond is going to be left behind almost on a permanent basis. So I really hope, Sevilla, that we can really find a way to get those villagers to say, you know what, my child doesn't have to live to the degree of poverty or whatnot that I've experienced. My child has every opportunity in the world, as long as they believe in themselves and they become an independent learner who has confidence they can learn anything at any time on their own without requiring somebody, teacher or somebody else, to tell them day by day, minute by minute what to do.
Thank you, Bill. Please allow me to speak on this. Bill, I agree with you, and I expect you to chalk out a roadmap for me, you can say for 4 weeks. When most beggars pouring in Karachi come from interior Sindh and interior Punjab, from the villages where they have agriculture as their profession. So please chalk out a roadmap for me for 4 weeks that when I supply food for them for iftari. Let's say iftari is the time when we break our fast, and most people gather at one place. I have a plan with my Sara Foundation that my volunteers will be going to different places with a leaflet in their hand, and they will distribute those leaflets, supposing and imagining that they can read, and they can read it out to them loudly for 4 or 5 minutes, to awaken them and to make them realize that we know how you feel, why you are here, and it's not a good feeling that you are here from your homes and you are wandering here and there and living on streets and just living on food. You need to do a lot more. So Bill, I expect you to chalk out a roadmap for me for 4 weeks so I can create an awareness in the city of Karachi with my volunteers. Even a couple of dozens of people are awakened. I would feel that this is my success. Thank you very much.
Okay, I hope here with Jaffri Saab and Gina Saab here, I feel confident we can come up with a plan. And that's, once we get a plan, then we can reach out to volunteers to say, let's find a way to implement it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you, Ma'am Sabia. Now I would like to invite Naveed Zafar Saab. Please share or add something about Ma'am Sabia and Mr. Bill's statements also.
Thank you very much. We must understand that artificial intelligence is just a tool. And the way we want to use the tool, that is the result we are going to get. It is not that people should learn AI with the intellect they have. It is that AI should be made as an instrument to solve their problem, or at least monitoring of those people. Like in the jail, the people who are under bail or something, they put a tag with them that whenever they go outside, they can be easily tracked. So we have to, because there are many beggars which you are being highlighted over here. They are the professional beggars. They don't want to improve their condition because they are used to getting money the easy way. So their problem, it is not equivalent to poverty. That is a separate type of people who are facing problem. And these are the professional beggars. They get around at a particular time just to make money. And these are not the people who have the problem what we are talking nowadays. But they are a nuisance. Definitely, they are someone. They need to be controlled, and they should not be allowed to enter the city. So we require a monitoring system for them. The moment they enter the city, we may have a band or something at their hands at some place. So we can deal with their problem in a different fashion. So these are the people who are just creating the problem for the people for their easy money. And same thing happened even in the Hajj era. They even travel to those places also. So we have to find this is a different kind of problem, not related to poverty. And AI can help a lot in dealing with them, provided if there is a will and goodwill, people are volunteering to do this. They are highly professional people, we must understand that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. मैं अब हमारे साथ हैं मोहम्मद आजम साहब. मैं आजम साहब से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि वो कुछ AI एंड एग्रीकल्चर से रिलेटेड कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन शेयर.
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम मैडम, बहुत शुक्रिया जी. इसमें 3 बातें डिस्कस हो रही है, एग्रीकल्चर भी है और इनोवेशन भी है, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस और जो इमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज है. और साथ ही अभी बिल ने एक सजेशन दिया है कि हम बच्चों के कंपटीशन को इसके साथ लिंक करें. तो फार्मर की जो आजकल एक एक्सटेंशन वर्क है, हर डिपार्टमेंट उसको अपनाए हुए कि हमने फार्मर्स को किस तरीके से अपने प्रोडक्ट को अपनी सर्विस के लिए उसको एंगेज करना है. तो इस वक्त की जो एग्रीकल्चर इनोवेशन सिस्टम आ रहा है उसमें फार्मर की ये चॉइस या अंदर की उसकी ये विश और विल हो रही है कि सिर्फ उसको उसके जानवर के बारे में कोई सजेशन देना या उसकी प्रोडक्शन के बारे में सजेशन देना, उससे वो बेहतर ये चाह रहा है कि उसके बच्चे को होल फैमिली अप्रोच के जरिए ऐसे स्किल्स इंट्रोड्यूस करवाए जाए, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप सिखाई जाए, टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ लिंक किया जाए, और अल्टीमेटली उसका ये जो ध्यान है सिर्फ अर्निंग मामलात में है कि उसका बच्चा अर्निंग लेवल में आ जाए। उसके लिए वो गैप भी सबर कर रहा है कि जितने भी स्टार्टअप बनने जा रहे हैं या जितने भी बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटी जा रही हैं, फार्मर का बच्चा एग्रीकल्चर को एज ए प्रोफेशन नहीं ले रहा, उसके अंदर वो प्रोफेशन के साथ जो दिलचस्पी या कदर है वो भी घटती जा रही है। तो हम ये अपने जिम्मे ले लें, बल्कि हर डिपार्टमेंट ले लें कि जो एग्रीकल्चर के साथ वाबस्ता है, चाहे वो
your conventional computer. Just let's say it is 50 to 80x more faster than your conventional computer. But due to ongoing research, uh, probably 4 or 5 countries have these quantum computer, and these are too much expensive for now. But the scientists and researchers are working to uh, make its cost less.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, Mr. Bill, you want to add something?
Yes, I just want to point out here the comment about, well, that the AIs are being programmed by humans. That ceased quite a while back. The algorithms. Right now, one of the challenges is that the models like ChatGPT, there are no humans that really know how and why it works the way it works. In fact, Stanford University has a major project where they're trying to figure out how these work. So the idea that humans are in control, give that idea up. It ended a long time ago. The second here is, and it's continuing more and more. You see even people using ChatGPT to say, come and write me an app that does some new approach to AI. The second thing here is the biases. That yes, you have people that are training these language models on existing data, and it's not so much a question as yes, you could have in China somebody say, I'm only going to feed it a certain corpus of data, and that because of how I select what goes in, that increases biases, let's say. But even if you go and take like ChatGPT, where they just said, or GPT-3, let's just dump all the knowledge we can find in there, you're going to pick up the biases of the general population. And there are ways to control that there. If you go into the playground AI for OpenAI, you can control the temperature, and that controls the accuracy to what degree the artificial intelligence stick to proven information. Also, you have to remember there's more and more reinforced learning, so that when the large language models go out and they train themselves on huge amounts of data, as this gets exposed to humans, and some humans say, no, that's wrong, and that's wrong, they're learning from that, and they're correcting those language models with a lot of that information. Now, unfortunately, you can have bad actors that are going out there, and they're deliberately sabotaging, if you would, by saying things that are right, saying that they're wrong, or vice versa. That's human. And when we go out and talk to humans, you have the same problem. Is that human telling the truth? Are they just BSing? Are they lying? That is just the way communication and human works. But those people that are learning to go and vet the information coming from the AI and judging it, just like critical thinkers should judge anything anybody says, they are finding they can work very, very well. We should not be afraid of biases, because it does not necessarily magnify biases. As long as you use the parameters to control how crazy the response is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. It's time to close, but before invite to Sir Ammar Jaffri, I would like to request Ma'am Sabia, you want to add something? Because you raised hand here. Madam Sabia.
Gee, I'm sorry, this was previously raised. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. I would just like to add that Mr. Bill has promised me to chalk out a roadmap for me to shift in the special mindset of these specially mushrooming people in Ramadan to come out, and I have I'm sure that many of those who are small entrepreneurs, they also come out to beg, because that's a golden chance for them. That our people, they like to do charity in Ramadan, and without thinking, without knowing whether it is benefiting the society or not, they're just doing it with closed eyes. I'm sorry to say that, and I'm now working on this. I hope Digital Pakistan would help me. Thank you.
Inshallah, ma'am, inshallah. Now I would like to request for Sir Ammar Jaffri for the opening remarks.
Closing remarks, please.
Closing remarks, sorry.
Ammar Saab, closing remarks, please. I think Ammar Saab probably having dinner with Daniel, so I'd like to invite Mr. Naveed Zafar for closing remarks, please.
Thank you very much. Today we have touched many subjects, mostly revolving around the AI. And there was some mentioning about the quantum computing. We must understand that quantum computing can be well understood if we take the example of a coin. If you toss a coin, it coming to the rest, it starts with one state and comes to the rest. But whatever happens in between, that can also be used to compute. And that is where the quantum computing makes it so powerful. Although there are now signs and there are many labs in Pakistan also, they are working on these type of projects on the quantum computing. But before we look for those kind of highly advanced solutions, we must first of all learn the basics. That is the normal artificial intelligence at the mass level, and that too at the level.
Lost him or I will not take him.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Closing remarks, please.
Okay. Thank you, Janak. Thank you very much. And जी निविदा कुछ फरमा रहे हैं, आप कुछ फरमा रहे हैं?
जी सर, आप बात कीजिएगा।
अच्छा, मैं सिर्फ आपको बताना चाह रहा था कि आज हमने जो पुराना एयरपोर्ट है इस्लामाबाद का, उसमें जो दफ्तर है उसमें आज दिन गुजारा वहाँ पे हमने। और नवी साहब को सुन के खुशी होगी कि जो वो सेशन कर रहे थे अपनी कंपनीज की, एक्चुअली बिल देयर इज अ न्यू सॉफ्टवेयर टेक्नोलॉजी पार्क इन इस्लामाबाद, and this is being developed by bringing people together. And I was actually team member to select the people who are going to sit there. So we did our best to select the best possible companies to sit there. And this is a first cohort. After every 6 months, they will change the cohorts. So I will request all of you to stay in touch with us and visit our office at the Old Airport. And this is the office of the security experts, which is doing something for cyber security in Pakistan. And today it has been a wonderful discussion, and we should talk about use of artificial intelligence for cyber security. And tomorrow we have a session on cyber security, and Buddha, get ready for that. And Buddha, you will have to speak on use of AI in cyber security. You know, if you think about our 3 vectors like artificial intelligence and emerging technologies, cyber security, and SDGs, I think that encompasses everything we want to do in Pakistan. So my closing remarks are that let's stay happy, let's stay cool. Nature has its own ways of improving the nations, and have faith in God Almighty, have faith in yourself, and have faith on the objectives for which Pakistan was established. I thank you. Over to you, Ahmed. Thank you.
Over to you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Well, yes, Kamal, please and please.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, all of you, Mr. Bill and Ma'am Safiya and Ms. Nabi Zafar Saab and Mohammad Ali Jinnah Saab. Thank you, all of you, for in same day and same time, inshallah, फिर मिलेंगे. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.
Okay, Allah Hafiz. Thank you. Thank you very